The night sky above New Shanghai burned navy blue, streaked with the neon patterns of shuttle traffic and a spiderweb of data streams visible only to the city's augmented. Inside the Tempest Institute, Dr. Mara Yun's heart hammered as alarms wailed throughout the glass and chrome corridors. It wasn't an attack, not yet, but the paradox indicator on her console glowed a furious crimson. Mara snatched her comms implant. "Derek, I need you in Lab 3. Now!" Derek's voice buzzed, laced with static and agitation. "What is it, Mara? Another anomaly?" "This one's different," Mara hissed, gaze fixed on blooming fractals perforating her desk's hologram display. "The core timeline matrix is destabilizing. If we don't act, the future's gone. All of it." He fell silent then. "I'm on my way. Stay inside." Footsteps pounded behind her. Rico, their youngest Shard, her teal hair flashing. She skidded to a halt, panting. "I saw them. The Strix guys, black visors, corporate gear. They know." Mara's fist clenched. "I was hoping to finish the scan before they found out. We're out of time." Literally. Overhead, a window shattered. 2 Strix operatives in matte black armor rappelled down, guns glinting. Mara dove behind her workstation, dragging Rico with her. "Plan B, Rico." Rico swallowed hard, eyes huge. "Chrono jump? We stay. We die. Jump to the Berlin marker. Derek will follow." Mara thumbed the Shard interface, a crystalline fragment on her wrist, focusing on 21st century Berlin, her safest fallback. But the paradox's echo tugged at her mind. Even the past was fracturing. A second's hesitation. The shimmer enveloped them, world pixelating into streams of memory and future. Mara's last thought as the lab dissolved. Did we just leave everything behind? They tumbled, weightless, through the currents of history, pursued by shadows with no patience for mercy. The race to save the future had begun. Mara landed hard in wet cobblestone, air rippling around her body as reality reasserted itself. A sickly orange glow filtered above, lamplight from 19th century Berlin, thick with mist and the clanging echoes of distant machinery. She coughed, clutching at her chest, and scrambled to her feet. Rico materialized beside her, knees wobbling, Chrome Shard bracelet flickering nervously. "Still think this is better than getting shot?" Rico gasped, rubbing her arm. Mara cracked a brief smile. "Marginally. At least bullets don't rewrite the universe." Sirens wailed somewhere nearby, old-fashioned analog cries, and Mara tugged Rico into a shadowed alley. Her mind spun with calculations, the paradox's ripple throbbing against her skull. Their horizon was shrinking in every direction. Derek's voice chimed through the comms, tinny and far away. "I'm almost there. Temporal drift's bad. You're bleeding anachronisms everywhere. Hide your tech." Rico scrambled to cover her bracelet, eyes darting to a trio of rough-looking figures staggering past. One glared at them, then kept walking. "How bad is it, Mara?" "If that pulse spreads, not even memory will survive," Mara whispered. "Past, present, future, all swept away." A hiss of static. Then Derek appeared, blue light popping him into existence in the alley. He staggered, bracing against the wall. "Took a side route. Strix already has jumpers scanning for us." Mara's eyes narrowed. "They're not just after the tech. They want to control the paradox, profit from it." Derek nodded grimly. "We have to move. Berlin's one of the fault lines. Someone here triggered the cascade." "We find the epicenter. We can patch the timeline," Mara said. "But if Strix finds it first..." Rico bit her lip. "Can we even trust our memories anymore?" Above, the mist shimmered, and for a heartbeat, Mara saw herself reflected in 1,000 ghostly futures, some triumphant, some erased. She set her jaw, determination slicing through the dread. "We have to try." They blended into the night, footsteps echoing into the chaos of fractured time. Behind them, a shadow moved, another presence watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The team snaked through labyrinthine alleys, fog curling like spectral fingers around their ankles. Mara's every step tightened her nerves. Paradox ripples twisted the world into glitching fragments at the edges of her vision. Candlelight would flicker, then abruptly burn electric blue. The silhouettes of passers-by sometimes wore clothes torn from centuries ahead. Rico scanned their chronometer, breath-catching. "Drift's worse. We lost minutes again. 5, maybe more, just vanished." Derek grimaced, eyes darting. "Chrono side effects. If we're not careful, we'll get caught in a pocket and won't even know we're stuck. Our memories'll melt." Mara slammed her back to the cold brick, peering into the bustling Hauptstrasse. "We find the temporal epicenter. No matter what. Did you locate the signal yet, Rico?" Rico nodded, fingers trembling over her cracked datapad. It converges near Brandenburg Gate. But it's moving. Movement flashed. Mara's pulse spiked. Two Strix operatives strode down the thoroughfare, faces blank behind carbon visors. Their uniforms shimmered, unsettlingly out of place here. Derek grabbed Mara's shoulder. "We'll be sitting ducks crossing open ground." Mara clenched her jaw. "Rico, can you mask our signatures?" "I'll try," Rico whispered, pulling the shard close and whispering algorithms. Reality stuttered, briefly blurring them from observation. "It won't last." "Let's keep moving." Mara stepped out, heart hammering, gaze locked on the famous arches shadowed by horse-drawn carriages. The paradox signal pulsed stronger, close now, sticky in the air. Suddenly a young boy ran headlong into Mara, nearly knocking her over. He looked up, wide-eyed, clutching a strange metal device, a 23rd century quantum key. Derek blanched. "Hey!" Mara crouched, voice gentle. "Where did you get that?" The boy hesitated, glancing over his shoulder. "A man in dark glasses? He said it would make me special." Distant footsteps thundered, a Strix alarm. The boy bolted, vanishing into the fog. Rico looked at Mara, voice shaking. "If Strix gave him temporal tech, they're already meddling." Mara's jaw clenched. "Then we'd better find that boy, before time itself does." Together they plunged into the smoky night, not knowing that every step drew them closer to the unraveling heart of the paradox, and to the deadly force pursuing them. The old city square hummed with strange tension, 1,000 overlapping timelines threading through the fog. Mara, Rico, and Derek dashed through the maze of street vendors and lamplit crowd. Every face could be a threat, every shadow a Strix operative. Mara's senses prickled as the paradox churned even fiercer. Time stuttered, seconds stretching and snapping without warning. "There!" Rico pointed. The boy darted behind a stack of crates in a moonlit alley, the quantum key clasped to his chest. Mara signaled for silence and edged closer, her team close behind. Mara knelt, voice steady. "We're not here to hurt you. That thing, what the man gave you, it doesn't belong here. It's dangerous." The boy hugged the key. "He said it would make things better. My family's hungry. He gave me money too." Derek shook his head. "That's the Strix playbook. They don't help people. They use them." Suddenly, harsh footsteps echoed, the pursuing Strix squad, weapons ready. Mara motioned the boy toward her, heart pounding. "We have to go now! Rico, dampen their sensors." Rico worked frantically, sweat beading on her brow. "I can short-circuit their optics for maybe 30 seconds. After that, no promises." As the alley exploded with blind searchlights, Mara grabbed the boy's hand and sprinted. Derek flanked them, Rico stumbling behind. The city around them twisted. Buildings flickered stone to steel, horses glitched into self-driving carriages. Time was bleeding faster now. They ducked through a ruined arch, finding momentary safety in what looked like a derelict printing press. Mara pressed a hand to the boy's trembling shoulder. "What's your name?" "Tomas," he whispered, eyes huge. Derek checked the quantum key, symbols whirled in a language not yet invented. "Mara, this thing isn't just advanced, it's engineered to anchor a paradox. Strix is using Tomas as a catalyst." Rico bolted the door with a pipe, breath shaky. "If we stay, they'll corner us. If we run, Tomas gets lost in the chaos." The sounds of Strix searchers drew closer, boots scraping amid scrambled shouts. Mara looked from Tomas to her team, resolve hardening. "We won't run, not yet. We remove the key and stabilize him. Then we take the fight to Strix." Outside, the city flexed beneath the paradox's invisible strain. The real battle for time was about to begin. The air in the print shop grew colder, colors dimming as reality's fractures deepened. Mara knelt by Tomas, calm but alert. Derek assembled tools from his own battered kit and the scattered junk on the floor. Rico hacked furtively at her datapad, sweat making her fringe stick to her forehead as she monitored temporal pressure. "We need to synchronize our tech with the quantum key's signatures," Derek said quietly, unpacking a node solder. "It'll be dangerous. If we jolt it wrong, we might accelerate the paradox." Mara turned to Tomas. "I know you're scared, but you have to trust us. That thing isn't a gift, it's a weapon." Tomas nodded, little hands gripping Mara's sleeve. "Will I disappear?" Mara's voice softened. "Not if I can help it." An explosive bang echoed at the far door. Loud metallic pounding, shouts in clipped foreign accents, Strix's enforcers. Rico whispered, "I can set up a feedback loop, scramble their comms for a few minutes." "Hold them off, Mara." Derek steadied himself, sweat trickling as he began prying open the quantum key. Blue light flickered, illuminating Tomas's frightened face. Mara, watch for resonance shifts. Rico, keep your algorithm cycling. Whatever you do, don't lose the loop. The key's core shimmered, flickering through lifetimes. Mara glimpsed fleeting images of Tomas as a grown man, a scientist, sometimes just an echo. The magnitude of his possible futures cut through her. This was who they were fighting for. Hope, choice, possibility. Resonance spike, Derek shouted. The light stuttered violently. The key vibrated, then with a sharp snap, the blue glow ebbed, shrinking to harmless silence. Tomas slumped into Mara, dazed but alive. It's done. Key's inert. The pounding at the door escalated. Rico gasped, systems redlining. They're almost through. Mara's jaw set. There's only one way out. She pressed the shard to her wrist, setting coordinates. We jump. With Tomas, Rico, dial us to Strix's mainframe. We end this at the source. As the world buckled again, the four vanished in a flurry of blue light. Their next destination, the heart of the enemy's power, the place where time itself could either be healed or lost forever. The sensation of the jump was harsher this time, like being torn through knots of memory and pain. Mara hit the ground first, knees stinging on polished marble. Overhead, the vaulted ceilings of Strix's mainframe towered, an impossible blend of crystal, metal, and pulsing light. The air thrummed with the power of stolen years, entire centuries harnessed and waiting behind quantum vaults. Are we? Inside the mainframe? Rico whispered, peering around in awe and terror. Derek scanned the perimeter, clutching Tomas close. Security's tight. Infrared, temporal fields, even logic locks. We're standing in a paradox engine. Mara reached for her interface, currents of dread pulsing at her temples. We need to get to the core. Strix records every jump in their crystal matrix. If we erase what they've done, the timeline might heal. Rico knelt, frantically patching her datapad into a wall node. I can see the paths. They're running mass causality simulations and mapping out how to profit from disasters they start. We have to shut it down. Footsteps clacked on the other side of obsidian doors, Strix's agents searching with lethal patience. Mara motioned the group close, every sense stretched taut. Derek's voice was grim. They'll throw everything at us. Tech, weapons, time hounds. We have to move fast. Rico's eyes widened. If we don't seal the breaches soon, whole pieces of history will vanish. I just watched Paris flicker out. Someone blinked and the city was gone. Mara's heart dropped, a mix of fear and determination blooming inside her. She squared her shoulders. No more running. Derek, you're with me at the core. Rico, guard Tomas and stabilize our escape point. If Strix hits, you jump. No hesitation. Tomas looked up, braver now. I want to help. Mara crouched to meet his eyes, steady and sincere. Stay with Rico. We'll need you to hold the anchor stable. You're part of history's repair now. Alarms blared. Strix had found them. Mara and Derek dashed toward the core, weaving through a labyrinth of crackling conduits and stuttering memories. Every moment a gamble between restoration and annihilation. Behind them, Tomas squeezed Rico's hand, both determined not to falter. The final confrontation had begun, and somewhere in the shadows, the head of Strix waited, already rewriting their fates. Crystal walls pulsed and shifted, conversation from distant centuries bleeding into the marble corridors as Mara led Derek through the maze. The hum of Strix's paradox engine vibrated under their skin, each step dogged by echoes of erased possibilities. Mara whispered, We're almost at the core. Derek, once we're in, I'll override the quantum network. You'll need to sync a feedback pulse and disable their temporal locks. We get one shot. Derek nodded, his determination fierce. If I mess this up, the whole timeline warps around us. Got it. At the corridor's end, colossal doors slid apart. The core chamber was breathtaking. Glittering logic crystals spiraled up to infinity, suspended in a cyclone of code and living memory. In the center, the Strix director stood, draped in a cloak of tech filaments, eyes shining with the power of someone who'd seen 1,000 outcomes and sacrificed everyone for profit. You made it farther than I expected, Dr. Yun, the director purred, voice both gentle and venomous. But you're out of your depth. Mara forced her chin up. What you're doing, collapsing timelines for your own gain, will destroy everything. Humanity deserves its future, not your counterfeit version. He smirked, flicking a switch on his arm. The very air warped. Mara's memories twisted, and for a moment she nearly believed she'd always worked for Strix. Derek grunted, fighting away the disorientation. "There is no future without Strix," the director intoned. "Chaos is profit. We hold the shovel, and we pick which graves to dig." Derek braced against a surge of shimmer, teeth clenched. "You think you're strong because of your tech. Try survival without a script. Try living without certainty. That's what makes us human." Alarms wailed louder. The paradox engine destabilized, whole memories flickering in and out. Back near the entry, Rico's voice crackled over comms. "Tomas is holding. The anchor's fading fast. Hurry!" The director smiled, raising a weapon coded out of pure time. "Last chance. Join me, Mara, or become a shadow with all the rest." Mara steadied her shaking hands and locked eyes with Derek. He offered a grim nod, and with nothing left to lose, they charged the core, hoping that courage and heart could outwit the corporate grip on destiny. Across the chamber, the paradox screamed toward Critical, every second threatening to erase not just the future, but Mara's chance to be the underdog that changed everything. Mara's heartbeat thundered as she and Derek sprinted toward the spiraling core. The director's weapon shimmered, a paradox cannon, its energy crackling in colors Mara had never seen. A single shot from it could turn her memories to static, her existence overwritten in an instant. She ducked just as the director fired. The beam skimmed her shoulder, memory fragments erupting, her father's face, childhood laughter, all flickering in and out. Derek dove behind a crystal pillar, sparks flying as the paradox current warped gravity itself. Rico's frantic voice sounded in Mara's ear. "Tomas and I can't hold much longer. The anchor's ghosting. If the feedback loop snaps, we're lost." Clutching her shard, Mara rolled behind a console and activated her override protocol. Holograms erupted, streams of all their jumps, looping endlessly, Strix's greed mapped in glowing chart lines. Mara called out, her voice ringing clear even through chaos. "You don't understand time. No one owns it. You can't script humanity's future or buy its hope." The director approached, cloak billowing, paradox cannon humming at her heart. "I understand it far better than you. Sacrifice is the cost of order. The only way forward is through power." Derek, breath-having, patched the final wires into Strix's feedback node. "Now, Mara, take it offline." She slammed her palm on the console. The core shuddered. Blue-white arcs lanced from the crystal matrix, racing up and down centuries of stored time. The director shrieked, unleashing another shot. Derek screamed as the paradox beam barely missed him. With the temporal feedback loop surging, Mara focused everything. Her memories, her pain, her hope. She recited her father's favorite poem, using the words to anchor her sense of self as the console fought to erase her past. Slowly, against the drag of oblivion, she entered the final command. "Derek, reroute power, use the shard." Derek hurled his own shard into the circuit. The core roared, pulses of energy ripping through the chamber. The paradox cannon flickered and snuffed out. The director stared, wide-eyed as fate slipped from his grasp. But the feedback was too much. The chamber began to collapse, reality going raw and jagged. Through the comms, Rico shouted, "We're out of time. If you don't anchor now, none of us will make it home." Mara staggered to her feet, determination burning in her battered frame. She grabbed Derek's hand, locked eyes with the defeated director, and with one last surge triggered the anchor jump, hurtling all of them toward the unknown, with history's future spinning on the edge of collapse. They tumbled through liminal space, the fabric of time snapping and thrashing around them. Mara felt the pain of every lost moment, each flashing fragment from their collective pasts clawing to hold on. Tomas's terrified voice echoed, "I can't see. Are we lost?" Rico's fingers were locked on Mara's shard. "The anchor's grinding against paradox currents. We're between timelines. If we let go, we'll be scattered through centuries." Derek's voice cut through the chaos, hoarse but determined. "Mara, focus. The shard can recalibrate off your memories. Yours are the only ones the paradox couldn't overwrite." With all her will, Mara gripped her core memories. The single-room apartment where she first fell in love with time theory, her late mother's laughter, Tomas's shaky courage, Rico's fire, Derek's loyalty. She pushed back the roaring noise, her thoughts forming a beacon in the swirling storm. Through the chaos, the director's voice slithered, "Even now you cling to hope. What's left if time collapses? What will you save if nothing remains?" Mara glared into the storm. I'll save what matters. I'll save the chance for every moment yet to come, even if it costs me everything. A blinding flash split reality. The paradox currents whipped the director away, his visage stretched thin and then gone. Erased from all timelines. The force pulsed through Mara's arm. The shard hummed, spinning faster, tethered to her unwavering memories. The jump ended with a gut-wrenching snap. They hit solid ground, disoriented but alive, inside the Tempest Institute. But not as they'd left it. Hallways shimmered with impossible overlays. Lost futures, restored fragments, echoes of Berlin and the near collapse. The Institute's clock chimed 13, a sign that the timeline had not yet completely healed. Rico wiped sweat from her brow. The paradox is sealed, but the scars are deep. Some history is still wrong. Derek checked Tomas, who now held an inert shard. He's stable, Mara, but if we don't balance the timeline, the future's going to fade out again. Mara glanced out a window. Skyscrapers had medieval turrets. Solar shuttles glided alongside horse carts. Their world was a patchwork, beautiful yet threadbare, on the verge of unraveling. She squared her shoulders. Then we finish this. Together. One last chance to restore humanity's true future. No more shortcuts, no more corporate puppetry. Their final mission loomed, to venture into the heart of the paradox one last time, where only human courage and not technology could mend the tapestry of all existence. The hybrid city outside the Tempest Institute's window glimmered with overlapping eras, a fractured monument to both disaster and hope. Mara inhaled, pulse pounding as she gathered Derrico and Tomas at the temporal core. One last breach point, shrouded in swirling light, fragments of lost possibilities flickering on its surface. Rico shot Mara a worried glance. No more tech tricks. This is pure paradox now. Only living memory can guide us through. Derek offered a tired smile, voice ragged but resolute. You began this believing in humanity's heart. Don't stop now, Mara. Mara nodded, looking at each teammate, seeing beyond their exhaustion into the resolve that time travel never could manufacture. She squeezed Tomas's hand. You're proof that hope can't be engineered. Are you ready? Tomas nodded, small but unbreakable. We do this together. As they stepped through, every timeline swept past, a cascade of what-ifs and if-onlys. The paradox seethed, hungry and wild. Heart-pounding, Mara verbalized the touchstones of her life, her lost mother's song, the childhood theory that first sparked her career, the ragtag team she now called family. Rico and Derek did the same, anchoring themselves to their rawest truths, their sacrifice and love forging a path forward. Even Tomas, with clear, tearful bravery, recited the words his father once whispered about never giving up. Each honest memory pressed the paradox back, weaving threads of intent and forgiveness, loss and hope, across broken time. Torn pieces of history began to mend, not by erasing mistakes, but by accepting and owning them. The world flashed, a boy in Berlin reunited with his siblings, skyscrapers settling into a seamless skyline, humanity turning away from Strix's emptiness towards something impossibly alive. But the paradox fought back, one last pulse of chaos threatening to scatter them all. Mara, battered but unbowed, faced the swirling storm, voice steady as she declared, We choose our own future, messy, flawed, and real. That's what makes time worth fighting for. That's what makes us human. The paradox howled, and with a deafening crack shattered. The world reformed, colors vibrant, the air clear. The city outside realigned into one beautiful integrated future, familiar but new. The Institute's bells chimed a perfect 12. Mara, Derek, Rico, and Tomas clung to each other in stunned relief. Tomas laughed softly, his presence anchoring reality itself. Derek patted Mara's shoulder. You did it, Doc. You kept us together. You saved it all. Mara gazed at them, once an underdog, now the architect of their future. She knew there would always be risk and uncertainty, but they'd proven something profound. Humanity's story is strongest when written by many hands, stitched together with love and courage. As the world moved on, restored, scarred, but full of possibility, Mara stepped forward, ready for whatever new tomorrow history would bring.